Good morning, Aimé. Thank you so much for agreeing to speak to us today. We really appreciate this. Can I begin by asking you about your experiences at your Ontario University? Because you reported experiencing a great deal of prejudice and discriminatory behavior. Could you talk a little bit about that environment and give the people who are watching this just a couple of examples to give them a sense of what you went through?
I've been working for my university before all this started for, I will say, 12 years, actually, 12 years, because this is 8 years now. This idiotic thing is going on, and not one complaint against me. In fact, in 2014, I've been appointed through election chair of the French department, and I've been really, really appreciated, very, appreciated by everybody. I know it will sound cocky to say that there were unanimity around me about my chairship, but that was the case. It was such a case, the case that after 3 years, I got the renewal with a margin of over 90% of my colleagues voted for the renewal of my chairship. The person who was the principal back then, I've been working with him. It was really exciting, and I can say that I was walking on a cloud. And just weeks after, no, actually days. 2 days after he took over, he sent me this email saying that, oh, there will be for the formation, there will form a two committee around one unit, but you won't be part of it. He just came. He knew nothing. He had not been in any administrative position for the faculty before that. And I said, how come? And he said, oh, no, that's the decision because you have an issue with the person who chaired that unit. And I said, am I dreaming of or what? Anyways, weeks after, 3 or 4 weeks after that, he called me in a meeting and said, oh, you are the former vice principal told him that I am one of the best chair of the faculty, but that I have to consider that this is over now because with him, he doesn't see black being excellent. That's what that man told me.
You described your time as chair as being a very successful, a very rewarding time for you, a position you really enjoyed. And you have also spoken to me about how the vice principal said that you were the best chair that he'd ever seen, that you were an excellent chair. But then there was a new appointed, and shortly afterwards, he had a conversation with you. Would you describe what happened in that conversation?
In the conversation, he literally told me that, I'm quoting him, I'm not even quoting. Oh, the former, since I can't call any name, the former vice principal told him that I am one of the best chair first in my work and to work with of the faculty. But he has to tell me now that that is over, that he doesn't see any black person being excellent in his job. I did not know that actually he was really, and he added that anyways, he will get me. He will get me. I didn't understand. I didn't understand back then what that means, but I didn't have to wait too long to discover what that really meant. Anyways, that guy started trying to either frame me or recruit people to come say that I am violent, I am all the stereotype about blacks being sexually hypersexual, being violent. 6 months, yes, 6 months after he took over, I got two positions to hire. I got to hire two professors in the department I was chairing. When the short list, the committee, the hiring committee, I was part of the hiring committee as affirmative action representative for the university. Okay, when we shortlist candidate, we invite the whole faculty to attend the public presentation, right? When they saw the name of one black, there was one black faculty who owned two PhDs in linguistics, whose working record is wow. She was actually a professor, assistant professor at University of. Oh no, she was actually in another big university. Okay, when they saw that there is a black female in the shortlist, they said publicly and in writing, that there won't be two black faculty in the Glendon French department. That if the black woman is hired, we have not conducted the interview yet. It's just that they saw the name and realized that she was originally from Cameroon, a Central Africa country. That there will never be two blacks in the Glendon French department. I request the university in January to launch an investigation into what I have been dealing with, and we're begging them to have it stop, and they won't. Now I wanted an independent investigation. As black, I will tell you this, as black, particularly in the workplace, we know we have to behave. We have to behave in a way that doesn't give any chance to anyone, because we know racists scrutinize us. But I did not know the amplification of that. I never did anything secretly. Everything I do is transparent. I hate, Julie, I hate doing things behind the door.
And you're very committed to transparency
Yes.
yourself. But they wanted you to sign an NDA. And what was your response to that?
Yeah, before getting there, they imposed on me confidentiality. I was shocked. I thought back then to the person who was my union representative, what are they talking about confidentiality when everything has always been transparent? At the beginning, I was not given the choice to decide. It was the confidentiality was imposed on me confidentiality, with the threat that if I speak, I will be terminated. The confidentiality were to help promote all the stereotype lies that were being fabricated against me. The confidentiality never benefits to the victim. The confidentiality is a weapon that the perpetrator use either to just control or even to persecute to the max the victim. I want this to be discussed under the rug. No, let us discuss this publicly. My case has to stay public and publicly discussed. Talking overtly about the big calamity that racism is, because racism is a calamity. Talking about it means taking steps maybe to start correcting things. But correcting things have to take away from the prejudice or the racist some privilege that, despite the fact that they are academicians in the academic world, they don't want to hear about at all. So white privilege make things worse for us, because people who have this privilege are the people who make decisions about us.
Begun an organization with Christopher Stonebanks called the BIPOC Academic Alliance of Canada. Can you say a little bit, Aimé, about what you're hoping that organization will do and how this experience you had with being silenced about racism led you to begin that organization?
What we start that organization because we realize that it is really a waste of time trying to convince our peer who have our age, our peer in the university, that it's time to start fighting that calamity that racism is. So we think that it's better to work with the young generation who we will leave this world to. So who will have to leave, and we don't want them to continue living with all this mess that people of our generation have created, and all this distress that it causes. So we start that aiming to touch and to give a platform of overt conversation to young generation to be able to come forward and talk overtly, them being white, black, etc., etc., so that we get together and start trying to build the world that we want to leave behind as legacy to our children, our grandchildren.
Thank you so much, Aimé.
Thank
That's
you,
great.
thank you,
Appreciate your time
thank
today.
you, thank you, thank you, Julie.